Hello everyone, I will be creating a guide to help you navigate the user interface. Let's see here, we have our first tab, which is our home page. This is where you'll log in, find your welcome message, a letter from, looks like March 3rd, although I believe that should be one of the most recent ones. It's not always the case. But down here we have some very good information. These are your notifications. You'll see a lot of families that have arrived, and you can click those and quickly navigate to those settlers. But let's head back to where we just were. You'll also find your military movements, intruders, looters, everything. I mean, this is a great tab to be looking at, and you'll see a lot of stuff happening when you have vassals of your own. The second tab is our map, and here we are. And you can zoom out as far as you want. You'll see different factions and vassal trees, and what have you. I mean, this game is huge. You'll see a lot of different factions when you do that. And you can zoom back in wherever you want. Maybe you want to found a new domain, searching for resources and stuff. And you can do that on that tab. Let's head back to where we were. Oops. All right. Now for our third tab is our Armorial. I think that's how it's pronounced. That shows my village, and we can head into what you'll find most of the time is a lot of different things. This tab is this part of it anyways is useless. I mean, most of the people, if you want to find someone, you'll just hit the search tab over to the further right, which is over here. And I can search for myself real fast. Let's see, Caesar. There's a lot of Caesars, so I'll type in my last name as well. Let's see here. All right. And that'll take me to me. So far, our third tab is our management tab. And here you'll find a lot of information. But don't let that scare you, because most of this is not that great to help you, because it can get skewed when, say, someone gave you a gift of gold. It'll jump up and down and all kinds of stuff. So really you want to look at three things here: your local tax income, your wages and pensions, and then like stuff that you bought or sold. And if you want, you can like keep booking and all that, but ain't nobody got time for that. So let's set that back to where it was. I actually just lowered that because if I head to my units over here, you'll see that they have a lot of money. That's not good. And the reason for that is because if you got attacked, or if I got attacked, I should say, someone could take all of that money, and that wouldn't be good. And to prevent them from having so much money, the ideal wages are 100 times how many units you have. Obviously, this is way too much because they're getting a lot of money. But to counter that, which I just done, it was lower the wages and keeping this high, 50%. The reason for that is because units, let's head back, they have levels, and the higher level they are, the more they get paid. And you don't want your units to have too much money, again, because they will be at risk of getting attacked, and two, you don't want to have some units having all the money and then there's none left for the lower guys. We can look at our low guys. Yeah, see, they have way less money. That's not always the case, however. As you can see, some have 500. But the game suggests that, so that's what we'll go with. And that was our finance page. The second page is our units, and we were just here. But what I want to go over is the happiness and the migration flow. right now we have 8,400 people. That's 84 units. Real quick, I'll just go back here. 8,400, which would be times 100 per unit, 84 units, sorry. So that would be around, here's what optimally I would want to be at if I was a lower village, and then around 200 as a higher level village, which would be 16,000 something. Yeah, that's good. 35 was good, actually. I did just lower it before I got to this page, so back to the units. The happiness, the more happiness you have, the more people you have, and that 72% is out of, let's head to our buildings. This number here, the housing space, I can have 72% of that, and I have more than that, actually, so that's why I have a negative migration flow. Excuse me. When that 300, that negative 300 is bad, because when I get to negative 500, I will start losing units, so I'll have to fix that. And to fix that, actually, is our next tab, and that is the resources. Here we have my stock. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it is what it is. What we want to look at here is the demands. And you'll see that a lot of these are expensive, and that's why they're paused. The ones that are cheap are down here, partly because there's not so much of it, and two, because they're just cheaper. And to get that automated, I just click that, and I will never have to worry about that again. Though I could buy stuff in advance, but it's a lot of micro, and I don't want to do that, and not many people do. Where was I getting at? Oh, right, the happiness. So when I click a unit, let's head to our level 1 miner, I guess. We can head into here. That's not where I want to head. Here we are. So when all of these items add to the unit's happiness, and then you have like the pending ones, and after a certain amount of time, these will go away and then just become negative up in here. You can never fix those again until, like, I don't know how much time. I'm not an expert, but as you can see, he's going down negative 11%. That's really bad. It's very bad. I'm in trouble. But we'll head back to where we were. Back to our resources. So what if we want to buy resources? Oops. Let's head something away from that button. Okay, so we have our quantity bar and our quality bar. Now, if I wanted to buy the stuff that I need, I'll just keep that in the middle as it was. And quality is a very important thing to look at. If you want, you can try your luck at the what's the like the, I don't know how to put it, but there's like a pool, and you get resources if you put it all the way down to 0, and whatever the highest quality is at that point for the cheapest price is what you get. Or sorry, it's the lowest quality, but sometimes it's not always low. Sometimes it could be high, so it's kind of like a jackpot or whatever. But you could do that, and that'll satisfy all of those units to at least 0, which is still a 50 increase. It's huge. It's better than negative 50. Or I could increase the quality. That'll make the resource even more happy, or pleasing, I should say. And we'll go back to the unit and see the different numbers. So you can see that the potatoes were very low quality, so it's not negative 50, but it's not like a positive number. But you can see that like some of the higher quality stuff is giving positive 56, or the pork here is very high quality, so you get a plus 72 out of that, and that's the happiness. Let's head back. We have one more tab over there. Sorry. Okay, our buildings. Now our buildings, I got into this a little bit before, but you have your housing capacity. Now the reason why that's orange is because a village has a max of 10,000, or a domain 5,000, but this is a village. And what happens is I can't repair or build more houses. So I will want to lower that and then kind of average out my units so that way I can get rid of who I don't want or don't need the most. So that way I can start automatically repairing buildings again. But down here, and you can see that I really do need to start automatically repairing stuff. The red means it's damaged. If it goes all the way down, like these hives, whatever that building is, the small whatever, we can click that. These are gone. Let's head to the map. Oh yeah, they're burnt. They're gone. So you want to prevent that from happening, and I'll get into like automation stuff in a little bit, but here you can find the state of stuff that's like in the most urgent demand of need or care. You can also see the value. Oh, I hate this thing. Let's move this down here. The value of some stuff. And this will add to our next tab, the rankings. There is a builder's ranking, and these are also known as like orders, the order of the builders, and that'll add to that. You also have like the order of the denier, order of the Father of Shakespeare for your role play. People vote on your stuff. And the reason why these are important is because you'll get some titles, which are awesome, but the most important thing, for me anyways, is the clothing. And that'll take us into our next tab, which is kind of like our navigation tab. Excuse me again. And if I click the edit button here for Caesar, it'll take me to his clothes. And I can change stuff around. Put a mantle on, or change my coat of arms. Can also change my name, but I'm not going to do any of that. And just recently, this was added too. You can change that around, which is cool. I like that. But the second button, which we've seen earlier actually, is how to navigate to like your player or your person and your domain. Getting back to this, like say if I was up here, I want to go back down instead of scrolling all the way in. I could just click that. All right, now let's get into the. It's hard to explain, but I'll just take you through it. These tabs here, you have your actions, your building, your production and harvesting and all that, your training, your like ceremony stuff if you want to found a domain, and your like prayer and entertainment stuff. And that's for happiness or whatever other prayer things you want to do. But that'll be for another video, the prayers. First, let's get into actions, I guess. But first, let's grab a guy that he can do most of this stuff. All right. So for the actions tab, oh, you know what? We actually need a military unit for that. And I don't think I have one for this domain. So let me find another character that does. Let's go to Robert. He should, if I click this enough times. Here we go. He has an archer. Let's go to this guy. All right. So the actions tab. So he's an archer. So he's going to be a ranged guy. He's at this here. I can click that again to show you. And excuse that noise. That's my cat. But you can see that you can attack with ranged combat. Sorry about that. You can see that he can attack with ranged. If you have military units in the same tile, you'll get, or sorry, melee units in the same tile, you'll get actions. I'll just move here real fast. A little bit of action going on in the background, but that's okay. All right. Now for our building tab, I want to go back to the domain I was just at. That's the village of Cremora. And back to our unit, whatever this guy is. He can build some stuff. Let's take a look at this. Let's go to let's go to the barn. Everyone builds a barn. So let's say I want some oak. That will, it actually has increased the quality, but it won't increase a lot because he's not a construction unit. But what happened was it increased the time it takes to build because it's a heavier wood, and also because I don't have any oak in this domain. So if I go back to this wood, which is fir, I do have that, and it reduced the time and the cost. You do have to pay for resources from other domains that come from there. If you don't have any wood at all, there's this little notification button at the top right corner. You can click that and buy resources directly from this page. If you're building a lot of things in a row, you can actually double this, and you won't have to keep doing it as much, but you can save a click or two doing that. Low quality obviously will be excuse me. Low quality will be cheaper, but not as good for building. So if I want, I can look for some higher quality stuff, but obviously it'll be more expensive. And that's how you can build. The next tab is our resource and like production, harvesting and stuff. But we can head over to our farmers. Let's click these guys. Actually, I'm gonna have to click that guy. This is a unit, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So let's move these guys over here. The reason why I'm doing that is because this is actually a completed, like, fully grown field, because it's darker. So let's see here. Let's click this guy, and we can harvest the hemp. Now, that star, the unit that I was talking about, let's head to manage this unit. The reason why the guy followed him is because they are a unit, and to do that, I'll have to show you with some other units, but these guys work together and they'll always stay together. But the reason why I did that is because the fruit grower is better at harvesting beets. And let me just quickly show you how to make a unit. And I can do that with these guys over here. I'll just click and drag, incorporate, and he will help him mine. Though I don't want to do that because that's bad. That'll ruin the quality. Management, somewheres. Oh, farther down, sorry. And I can just dissolve that. Back to the map. Further out. Alright. Now let's go back to what we were doing here. We were harvesting hemp. Now, what if I don't want to click around all the time? Now, you can automate. Right now, it's not automated. Automate it. But, oh, hello, Dan. Let's, where was I? Managing the unit, the automation. What if I want to automate some more stuff? So let's see. I could plant more, some potato fields. If I had some potatoes, I don't. But this is where you can do that. Alright. Where were we? Dan's always distracting me. Alright, our training tab, that's what it is. There we go. So our school is where I just put us at, by the way. This is where a lot of trainings can happen, but it's not the only place. What we want to look for here is the at least 70%. So like the 69 is okay, but it's not optimal. And the reason why is because the further, the higher stat that they have for the profession makes better quality stuff for that. Now, there's better guides out there, but this is a good guideline to follow if you haven't access to that stuff. Then we have our 2 shields. I'll head to a unit that can do stuff with that. That'll be our lords. Here you can promote or declare independence if you want it. I'm not doing that. This is kind of like our ceremony tab, the 2 shields. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but close enough. And you can actually do more stuff like resign if you don't want your domain anymore, or liquidate, but that'd be bad. You could demote. I actually talked about population size earlier. If I demote it to a domain, it'd have the population max that I could have, and I can show you that real fast in the search tab. Let's see, domain. Oops. Oh, I hate this thing so much. If someone knows how to get rid of that, let me know. Here we are. Alright, so let's scroll down. 5,000. Village. Here we are. Alright, 10,000. And there's a lot of different buildings that each title can have and what have you. Units as well. And you will want to look into that, but there's again, there's also guides for that too that will make it easier to understand, because a lot of that information was clumped together. And again, the last one was the entertainment and the prayer, and I can show you the prayer Prozac. If I turn my screen sideways, it might show us some stuff. Nope. Although I can get into this. Clicking my lord. If I want to move someone around, I'm just going to show you my lord, for example. Instead of dragging him onto the side like this, he did move to the next tile. I could instead, my hands are a little shaky, I'm sorry about that. I could instead move over here. I can do that. I can speed that up. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to show. I'm sorry that I missed this. So I'll grab my lord. I won't be able to, but you might, especially during the tutorial. I'll head back to the village of Cremora, down to my units tab. This button here, it's red right now. It says 49 AR. Those are arpents, or like miles or whatever. If that's green, you can click that. It's red, so nothing happens for me. But if it's green, actually I do have a domain that has something green. Let's see. This is green, so I can click it. It'll take me to a tile, and I can expand there. And sure enough, there is a expansion part, and that's because I actually like shorten the domain. I don't know the action, what it's called, but I didn't want the land anymore, so I got rid of it. And you can do that too, but I don't recommend it. There's that guy, although the music might be loud, so I'll quickly get out of that. But that is the user interface, and I hope that helped a lot of people, because it can be very confusing.